And if you're going, go on purpose with purpose. Hey, they're not looking for magic here. They're looking for safety. Don't pick what you like. Pick what they use. We got out in the car and I'm telling you, I went bananas.
Welcome to Get Your Mind Right. Today, we're diving into your questions and insights in our mailbag segment. Thanks to everyone who wrote in. Let's open up the mailbag.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Get Your Mind Right Mailbag Edition. Let's get into it. Now today, we're tackling 3 questions that, on the surface, they look tactical, but underneath, they're all about feel, timing, and reading the room. If you've been in this game long enough, you know, well, that's your whole job. Here's what we're unpacking today. First of all, Kylie Rathgaber writes in, John, industry events, are they worth it or are they just another meeting? And Bree's wanting to talk about handling that once a guarantee objection and re-engaging cold leads. We're going to finish up today with Patrick Hansen, and Patrick's wanting to talk about best practices for social media, one of my favorite topics. And after that, well, we got a fun backstory. Or if you're me, not so fun, because I'm going to tell you about a rep who did exactly what he was trained to do and got our heads kicked in over the deal. One of the roughest lessons in emotional IQ that I've ever experienced. But first, the mailbag. And this comes from Kylie Rathgaber from Evansville, Indiana. And Kylie's wanting to know, John, these industry events, are they worth it or is it just another time suck and wasted time? Well, Kylie, let's be honest here. Some events absolutely slap while others are just performance art. And the only way to know which one you're walking into, well, it's to ask that brutally tough question. Is this room full of people who can end up getting me across the finish line victoriously, or full of people who just want to pitch me? So Kylie, here's your step-by-step checklist. Number 1, pre-qualify that room. Now, if your ideal customer is not going to be there, or the only folks attending are your competitors, don't go. But if the decision makers you need are walking around in lanyards and khakis, you need to be there and with intent. Okay, and here's what that intent is. Don't attend attack. If you're going, go with purpose and go on purpose. Book your meetings there ahead of time. Make a list of 5 people that you must talk to. And build a warm-up campaign that starts about a week before you go. These are social media posts. These are DMs. Hope to see you there kind of messaging. The next thing, Kylie, is I want you to build a campaign, not a conversation here. Because that real ROI doesn't come from the booth traffic. It's going to come after the fact. And what that looks like is a clean, direct follow-up process. It means that you're going to have a one-on-one video outreach within 72 hours. And you're going to be delivering a value hook that answers why right now. Now, Kylie, these events are not about visibility. They're about velocity. Move fast and follow up even faster. Now, if you work it right, an event's not a meeting. It can be a moment, and you only get so many of those in the course of a year. Thanks for the question, Kylie. Next question is from Bree Miracle from Newburgh, Indiana, and she's got a 2-part question on handling these guarantee objections and re-engaging cold leads. Well, Bree, this is a loaded question, and I love it. Well, let's start with the dreaded, can you guarantee X results question? Well, Bree, you already know what's behind that question. It's fear. They're not looking for magic because no one has it. What they're looking for is safety. So let's flip it. The first thing is to get rid of that dreaded hopium and show the blueprint. I'm going to run the ball right down the middle at them. I'm going to say, Bob, you know what? I cannot guarantee results. What I can do is walk you through how we're helping companies like yours succeed, and what it takes on both sides in order for us to get there. Bree, this is how you stand on your business here. You do not oversell, you overeducate. You walk them through exactly what your process is, what your proof is, and most importantly here, what your client's role is in their own results. Bree, the second part of your question was, what is the optimal way to re-engage cold leads? Well, as you know, timing is everything. So we don't just want to resurrect the past here. We want to resurface relevance. So here's our step-by-step guide. Number 1, start with a value checkpoint. Hey Bob, I know the timing wasn't right when we first connected, but since then, we've seen a specific industry change tailored to your client. Is this worth a fresh convo? By the way, it doesn't have to be an industry change. It could be a case study update. Any sort of new information that's going to pique their interest and that is relevant. Now, the next thing about this, Bree, this is very, very, very important. What we did there is we made this about your client, not about you. So important. When I called them up, I said, hey, I'm just checking in. I want to see where you're at. It's all about me. Complete opposite of what we want to accomplish from this. Now, your last thing, Bree, is when you send this out or when you call them, give them a reason to respond. This means that relevance is actually greater than persistence. Now, Bree, your prospects need to feel like you're timed, not tired. No more of this dreaded just checking in. No more ghost chasing. Lead with value, land with timing. Bree, you always have great questions. I appreciate this one. We're going to wrap up today's mailbag section with Patrick Hansen from Fredericksburg, Virginia. And Patrick wants to know, what are the best practices for using social media in cold outreach? Well, Patrick, this is a gold mine if you work it right, and an epic faceplant if you do not. The key is to go where your audience lives. It's just that simple. And 99 times out of 100, if it's B2B, they're going to be in LinkedIn. If you're talking about a visual or a lifestyle play, you look at Instagram. Niche group is Facebook, and if you got fast value, go to TikTok. Patrick, it's really important. Don't pick what you like. Pick what your target uses. The next thing is to warm it up before you reach out. Just don't show up in the inbox. Show up in the feed. And what I mean by that is commenting meaningfully. And you want to hit the likes sparingly, not like a bot does. And you want to post weekly so that you're showing that you know your stuff. That way, when that DM hits, you're not a stranger to them. Now, we're on this hopium thing today, and I'm going to hit it even harder with you, Patrick. Send a no hopium cold DM. And I'm going to give you an example of a bad one. Hey, let me tell you about my offer. Delete. Now, here's a better one. Hey, Bob, I saw your post today. Solid insight. Curious. Have you tried X strategy? Seen some wins lately and happy to share. The key here, Patrick, is lead with insight, offer help, and end with curiosity. Patrick, cold outreach on social is a charge mentality move, but only when you do it right. If you skip the feel, you're going to sound like a template, and you're done before you even got started. And now for the backstory. Welcome to the backstory, where I take a step back before we move forward. Each week, I share moments that shape me, whether it's my time as a sales rep, my journey as a dad, experiences I had, stories I've learned, or the curiosity that's followed me since childhood. Because every lesson learned today, well, there's usually a story worth telling behind it. Let's get into it. The title of today's backstory is Tone Deaf and Tuned Out. Now, have you ever trained someone exactly right only for them to nuke the deal anyway? Well, that's happened to me, and I'm going to take you back to a moment early in my sales leadership days. So I had a rep. He was eager, sharp, worked hard, and he followed the playbook. But he did not know how to read a room or a situation. So we're working a dental practice, and for any of you that's worked a small, any kind of medical office, you know what the drill is. You do not see the doctor until you pass many, many hurdles put up by the office administrator or some other person that they've put in charge as a gatekeeper, okay? Only when you get to meet with the doctor are you close to the finish line. And that's what we'd done here. And boy, were we close to the finish line. So we show up ready. We'd also been teed up early on that certain people were allowed to enter the side door. Another good sign that we're in good shape. So we walk in this side door, and the door flies open, and Doc nearly runs over us. Eyes wide, face pale, and he blurts out, "Guys, I'm sorry, I just got a call. My mother had some sort of catastrophic health event. I'm on my way to the hospital." So as he is turning, my rep, God bless him, puts his hand on his arm and said, "Hey, totally understand, Doc. Should we come back tomorrow or is the next day better?" Well, time stopped along with my heart. And the doc stopped for a second and just kind of looked at us open mouth and then turned and walked away without any words. So he got in his car and left. Now listen, I've coached lots of people over a long period of time and I've seen some fumbles, lots of them. But that one, wow, this is one for the books. I'm talking to you about this literally decades after the fact. I go from astonished and amazed to angry. So by the time we get in the car, I said, "Dude, what in the world were you thinking? What is going on in your head?" He looks at me, totally serious, and said, "I thought we were always supposed to anchor the next appointment before we leave." Well, here's your lesson here. You could do the right thing at the wrong time, and it becomes the absolute worst thing. What we do is human, and human beings have feelings. What we do requires feel, and it requires emotional IQ. And you bulldoze your way through a tragedy with your calendar in hand, you're not closing deals, you're closing doors. Now, the good news is that the doc forgot all about it. We let a couple weeks cool off, and I don't know if he didn't remember it or if he just forgot about it, but we closed the deal. Probably should not have. And the reason is it's not because our pitch was bad, not because we failed to show up, because we failed the vibe check spectacularly. So when you're re-engaging cold leads, or you're using social media to prospect, or you're deciding whether to press in or pull back, remember, process is great, but pulse is better and always has to be present. If you can't feel that moment, you don't deserve the meeting or the deal. And that is today's backstory. This was a great episode today, folks. A lot of fun for me. We tackled how to approach industry events with strategic clarity, how to handle that guarantee trap and win back cold leads, and how to rizz up your social outreach game without sounding desperate. And the backstory, why feel matters more than formulas. Now, before we go, it's time for a pop quiz. Which of these is not a good reason to follow up? A, you saw a market shift that affects... Okay, let's start over on that. Pop quiz time. Which of these is not a good reason to follow up? A, you saw a major market shift that affects your particular client. B, you're bored and need pipeline. C, they've gone cold but were once qualified. Or D, you just saw they posted about a problem you solved. Now drop your answer in the box below. And hey, share this with someone who needs it. And I'm asking you to like it and hit that subscribe button. If you got any questions or comment, I would love to hear them. Drop them in the box below. I'll see you back here next Wednesday on Get Your Mind Right.